Think for a moment. Have you ever felt a personal conflict or loss that could be linked to a battle? This isn't just about physical conflicts, but emotional and moral ones as well. As we explore these stories, consider how each narrative reflects the true cost of war, not just in physical terms, but in the battles within ourselves and with those we hold dear.
What is the true cost of war? Firstly, war is not only about guns and tanks. Every person has his own war going on in his life. In the short stories The Sniper by Liam O'Flaherty, My Greatest Ambition by Maurice Lurie, and Thank You Ma'am by Langston Hughes, the author illustrates the theme of the true cost of the war through realization of close ones turning against oneself and sacrifice of one's identity or beliefs. Firstly, the author showed these personal costs using the revelation of how things or people close to us can turn against us. For example, in the short story The Sniper, the main character fights against another professional sniper, but after his enemy is killed, it turns out that this was his brother. This shows the brutal truth of Warframe, that it can turn even family members into enemies. This tragic episode reflects the wider impact of war, where personal relationships become acknowledged causalities. In the short story My Greatest Ambition, Nu has a dream to become a famous comic strip artist, but the reality of the industry shatters his ambitions. Nu was expecting his office to be modern and luxurious with exotic plants and expensive materials, but when he sees the actual environment of the Boy magazine, he realizes that it is much worse. It is a war within himself, where his own dreams turn against him. His high expectations meet the harsh truth of reality, illustrating that sometimes that the things people chase could become an undoing.
News delusionment is symbolic of the causalities of personal wars, where our dreams and aspirations clash with harsh realities underlying a different but equally poignant aspect of the true cost of war, the war of conflicting ideals and shattered dreams.
In the short story Thank You Ma'am, Roger is a young criminal that earns only by stealing. He meets a woman that changes his beliefs through empathy, and initially he had a war for his living where he thought that he could survive only through theft. However, these beliefs turn against him when he encounters Mrs. Jones, who offers a different perspective on trust and kindness. In conclusion, all these stories show that true cost of the battle is seeing close ones with whom you connected your life becoming enemies. Secondly, the author shows the price of war by sacrifices that characters make in their mindset and identity. For example, in the story The Sniper, the main character is described as a cold fanatic that became a combat machine, symbolizes the loss of compassion and sympathy in his identity. The shocking realization that he has killed his own brother marks a tragic loss of his remaining humanity. In My Greatest Ambition, after seeing the industry inside, Nu decides that he doesn't want to become a strip artist. In the war of idealism and reality, his decision to abandon his passion represents a sacrifice in his dreams, since he realized that this is not something he should aim his ambition towards. In the story Thank You Ma'am, Roger decides to change his path and stop being a thief. After Miss Jones shows him the path of kindness in the war for his living, he sacrifices his old identity for a chance at a more ethical and empowering future. In conclusion, the author's using metaphorical losses of characters shows the true cost of the war, that it always has sacrifices. To summarize the true price of the battle, the short stories The Sniper by Liam O'Flaherty, My Greatest Ambition by Maurice Lurie, and Thank You Ma'am by Langston Hughes is shown by authors through the realization of close ones becoming enemies and characters' sacrifices that they made to continue their living.
Recall the personal conflict you thought of at the beginning. These stories, while distinct in their narratives, converge in the illustrating the complex nature of war's true cause. It's not just physical battles, but emotional, moral, and physiological wars that shape our identities and relationships.